Guys, and welcome back to another MCreator tutorial. Today what I'm going to be covering is how to make enchantments and use them in the procedure system. So the first thing that you actually need to do is it's really straightforward stuff. You just need to create a actual element for the not loot tables, the enchantment should be under E, and then you basically give it a registry name. Now I already have one created, so I'll basically just demonstrate the settings in that particular file and cover what basic stuff it is, at least what I know about it. So you have the enchantment name. This is basically the name, the display name for what the enchantment's going to be called on the books and stuff like that. The enchantment type is where it's going to be applied for the item that it's going to be applied to. So weapon would be similar to swords, tridents, obviously trident, bows, wearables, I think is things like armor, all sets armor, crossbows, obviously different than things like bows, and then you have fishing rods. Digger, I think, is like a shovel. Weapons, obviously the swords and stuff, and then you have your specific armor sets. Armor is like, I guess, all versions. Vanishable and breakable, these are particular ones for what items can actually break and stuff like that with those particular items. So I think it's the same as the ones that these two things can actually go on. So I think it's like specific armor and stuff like that. So those are your options for the tools and stuff. And then you have the rarity. This if you click on the information, it says it's the rarity of the enchantment appears on the item inside of the enchantment table. So for loot tables and stuff like that, depending on how rare you want it to actually be applied to the actual item for the enchantment tables, the little enchantment station that you can actually apply enchantments, that you can set the rarity from common, uncommon, rare, and very rare. So those are your options there. And then you have the minimum supported level and maximum supported level. Now these are basically applied for what kind of levels that you want to set for the actual item itself. So for example, if you wanted it to be between 0 and 3, then you could basically set those levels up like that. You can also set the levels to any value for the minimum and maximum. So if you don't want to necessarily start at 0, you can always start at 1 like I did. The other option is maximum supported level. Now this is the highest level that it can actually be obtained with the enchantment table or books and stuff like that. So I have it basically set to 1 and 3. That will be important later on, so make sure that you have an idea what version you want for your enchantments. Now generally your first level is going to be 0. But each level after that is basically like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. In this case, 1 is actually 2 and 3 is actually 4. So damage reduction modifier, I'm not entirely sure what this one, I try to make sense of what it says here. What I gather is, for example, protection has a value of 1, so for the first level, the enchantment will protect the player 1 damage as 1, and basically the 1 level multiplied by 1, your value equals 1. So obviously, from what I gather, the level of the enchantment is multiplied by the value that you set this. I'm not sure how that exactly works when it comes to that, but or exactly how this even really is designed for the features or anything like that, because it doesn't really give a lot of information on what it actually does. My best guess, it just kind of buffers the amount of damage or takes the damage onto the item, maybe. I don't know. Below that, what we have is is this enchantment treasure, a treasure enchantment? So if you basically check this, what happens is it will not be able to be produced in a enchantment table. So very similar to mending or soul speed. There is an exception though. You can check the one down where it says can it be applied to books. Now this would allow you to still enchant books with the enchantment table and get it onto the item, but like for the book itself, but it would be not be able to be applied directly to the actual item that you're enchanting. So if you want that, you can check it. If not, then just uncheck it. Is enchantment cursed? So is basically a negative enchantment. So curse of vanishing, curse of binding properties use this. So basically a bad enchantment. So anything that would it would display the name as red. So that would be basically that. If you want that, you can check that. Can it be applied to books? So we covered that. It would basically allow you to enchant things on books in enchantment tables. Can enchantment generate in loot tables? So this one is basically for only versions 1.16 and higher. So what it does is it allows you to use loot tables to generate like things like for example, if you wanted to add it to generate, if you want enchantments to generate, yeah, I really actually don't know too much about this. That one, I'm assuming it will just kind of generate things like on entity loot tables and stuff. You can put it in there. I'm not really entirely sure how that works. The other one is this enchantment appear in villager trade? So if you want it to appear in a villager trade, you can basically check this box and it will come up in a villager trade for books and stuff like that. So you can check that value. The other one is can it be combined with. Now, if you want to specify it, what enchantments it can be combined with, you can basically set what enchantments. So basically anything in this list will be allowed to be combined with. Anything that is not in this list will be basically discarded from being able to be actually applied in conjunction and work together. So you can set your other enchantments. So for example, if you want this diamond death one to work with looting or something like that, then you can basically do that. But if you don't want it, then you would leave it blank, like not list it. And the only difference is you would leave this empty if you want to disable it. So if you don't want any restrictions to any enchantments, you can basically just leave this blank. The one below it can be applied to. This is for what kind of item that you want it to be applied to. This is a little bit different than your enchantment type. This is basically the category it's under. Again, I think some of these are like the digger is probably meant to be tools and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if that's exactly the way that it's supposed to be, but maybe it should have been tools instead of like digger, but I don't know, because some tools have tools and stuff like that. But if you want to apply it to a certain item, then you basically just set what items that you wanted to apply it to. So for example, I selected the netherite sword, and it will just be able to be applied to that particular sword unless I specify other swords that I want to. And I already have it under weapons, so it's basically going to allow it to be applied to a weapon type. So swords, things like that. All right, so that's the basic settings for that. Now I'm going to go quickly into the system of setting it up. I have a simple procedure here that we can cover. And this is basically just running from global procedure. You can run it from any procedure pretty much, and run your enchantment testing and stuff like that. The one thing that you will need to do is create an if statement. And then if you specify what kind of swords or things like that, you might want to specify the item, especially if you're basically doing something with it. So for example, when I'm killing an entity, I want to make sure that the main hand of the source entity of the player, which is the player that is basically killing the entity, has the main hand item of the netherite sword. Now that also is set up for this particular value here. It's the only one that I need. So I'm testing it for that particular value. Now this isn't really required, but because it's a global procedure, I needed to set it up this way in order to make sure that they have something in their hand. So I figured I would just add it to that. Then what we're doing is adding an and statement. You can basically set it from the equal sign to the and statement, and then we're testing for this other value. Has item in main hand of source entity enchantment, and then our enchantment that we created. So you can select your custom enchantments from this list. I only have one, so I basically selected that. Inside of that, what we're doing is we're going to test for the level of the enchantment. So for example, if it has level 3, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically run this particular script here, which is a little bit lengthy, but basically what it does is it's going to generate anywhere between 10 and 15 rounds of this repeater, which is basically going to spawn one item each time. So anywhere from 10 to 15 items will drop. It's basically setting the random location for where the item should drop, and then it's going to kind of spread it around the entity. So I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. It's actually a really neat script. I'll provide it in the description so you guys can use it. So the other one down here is basically testing for 2. This value is between 5 and 10 items. So basically same script though. And then for any value that is under that, what we're doing is we're just running this one where it will drop 0 to 5 diamonds basically at random locations. So basically that's all we're doing. Now to find these blocks, this one, that one, and that one, what you need to do is you need to go to your item procedures, and then you want to scroll down for get enchantment level, and then you want this one right here. For global procedures, they don't generally use or support provided item stack. So your best bet, if it supports entity, then you might want to put a main hand item, which is found under the entity data, and then this main hand item right there, and that will work and bypass the item stack. So, and you just select what enchantment you want to apply here. So that's the get level one, and then you basically compare that to a value, like a number. So you would need to go here, select this one, and test for the number. So you need to apply a number at that one, and then set it to a value that you want. So that's that part. And then if we go back to item procedures and scroll down a little bit, we have has provided item stack, enchantment, and then basically the enchantment. So what this one does is it tests if the enchantment is applied compared to the enchantment level. So again, not all things are supported for the item stack, so you might want to set it up to main hand item for the source entity. So that's basically all you need to do. Between that though, what you would do is you apply your event, or basically your trigger mechanics for whatever you want to do for applying that thing when it actually has that enchantment. So if you wanted to do particle effects, etc., whatever you want, pretty much you could put it in this section between these blocks here. So that's pretty much it. It's a really straightforward system. The only thing that you really need is these blocks to test for the level and the enchantment. Outside of that, it's really customizable. So let's go in game quickly, and then we'll take a look at how the script actually works, and then I'll just kind of promote that so you guys can probably go ahead and download it off of GitHub. So we'll cut back in when we're in game. Alright, so we're in game now, and I'm just going to go find a animal to kill. We'll leave the wolf alone. We'll kill the cow instead. So as you can see, it kind of spreads out the diamonds and stuff like that for when we kill it. So we can go down here and kill this one as well. And you can see that it just kind of spreads everywhere, which is pretty cool. It's just some script that I put really quickly together and to see if if it actually works. Now that you can basically set it to any item that you want. Well, that's actually kind of cool. Kind of like a little water fountain there, or waterfall. But yeah, so if you apply it to a different item, for example, if we go ahead to set the value to something like enchant, then we want our name and then test, that's the workspace I have, the enchantment. And then we can go with 1. This will be the lower level of the enchantment here. So we'll just find something to kill. I'll get rid of those other diamonds so we can kind of keep track of what we get. So we got 1 diamond from that. Let's see if we can't find another creature. There's another chicken over here. So we got 1 diamond. 1 diamond. Not sure if this one will actually give us a diamond or not. Yeah, maybe not. So, well, it does have the opportunity to not drop any items, so it's quite possible that that didn't work because of that reason. So let's see if we can't find another animal to kill. We have these sheep over here. So we didn't actually get 1 from that. Did get 1 diamond from that. So no diamonds. 1 diamond. We got a few diamonds from that one. Oh, we got a bunch from that one. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 4 from that one. So that's pretty much the highest that we can get for that particular enchantment. Almost. There was like 5 that we can actually get from it. But depending on the level, for example, if we set it to 2, then we can basically kill the chicken and we'll get anywhere from like 5 to 10. So we got 5 from that one, 8 from that one, 6. So yeah, as you can see, it's kind of random. But yeah, the actual script, like for it dropping the items and stuff, is really cool. It's completely random where it actually drops, so it will kind of spread out the thing around the entity and stuff like that, or wherever you actually want to drop the items. You can set it to particles, whatever you want. It's really customizable in that regard. The spreading mechanics is the main feature of that, but I'll make sure to provide the script so you guys can use it in your workspaces and stuff. It'll be on GitHub. I'll provide the list or the link to it, the actual page, in the description, so you'll be able to grab that from there. Outside of that, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, comment down below, rate the video, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace out.